About a year ago, I shared a list of the greatest video games of all time, and then about 5 months ago, I shared a less visually appealing list of that update, along with an update on movies and songs. Here is my current list for video games. It's a little different from back then. Anyway, that's not the point of this video. This video is about this article. The list of video games that I consider the best. This one, not this one, this one specifically, that list started because, in large part, of this list. This list has lots of games, from Oregon Trail all the way up to Elden Ring. And to get on this list of, considered the best of all time, you have to be included on at least 6 separate best, greatest games of all time lists from different publications, inclusive of all time periods, platforms, and genres, as chosen by their editorial staffs. So, there's a talk section, and in the talk section, they talk about, should this be included? And, they'll be like, nope, doesn't have sources. And then it'll say something like, should we include this article? And then they'll be like, yes or no. Or this source, yes or no. And so somebody took this list of the greatest games of all time, list of video games considered the best. They took all of this and they went through the sources. Here's all the publications they use. So they went through all of that, and there is data somewhere, so they didn't have to it's all in spreadsheets. But they took all that and they found which games had the most mentions. And here's their list of games with the most mentions throughout time, and ranking them based on that. So Tetris is number 1, and it goes all the way down to 100, and here's some honorable mentions past 100. However, this list that they came up with, the top 100, is old leaning. A lot of the games up top here are very old, and I'm concerned that by modern standards they might not hold up. A lot of them do, which I'll show you in a bit. But for instance, would they be ranked that highly if we use only modern sources? A lot of them aren't ranked as highly, and some of them are ranked higher if we use only modern sources. The first Sonic the Hedgehog, for example, I'm going to show you next is, what I did is I took the top 100 video games list here, but I did that only using sources from the past 10 years, from 2014 to 2024. And what that does when you do that, when you only use modern sources, is old games that are still on the list are still on the list. That's good. They're classics. They've stood the test of time. But some games that are on this list are no longer on the modern list. The original Sonic is not there. It's not that highly ranked. Where's Sonic 2 on this list? Hedgehog 2. What? Okay, so one thing here is Sonic 2 is not on this list, whereas Sonic the Hedgehog 1 is. Where was that? There. But it's not on the modern list, the first one. What else is there? Grim Fandango's not in the modern list, so it's not even in the top 100 of the modern list. So you can argue that essence of the chance of time and that people aren't remembering it as well. Same with Prince of Persia there. That's just mostly, yeah, as you get to around 50 and lower here. A lot of games like Defender, Grand Theft Auto 4, Burnout 3 aren't on Planescape Torment, System Shock 2. They're not on the more modern list, which means they're more products of their time and not really timeless classics. So you don't need to play them anymore if you missed them, was the idea. Let's show you the modern list. So here's all qualifying games from sources from 2014 till now. And number one's Last of Us, which is very different than Tetris being number one. And also there's a lot less mentions. You know, Tetris had 71 mentions if you include all sources. It's only 23 if you include past 10 years sources, which is still a lot more than most games, right? So that shows Tetris is enduring. And then here's everything else down there. And let's see. I looked at this list though, I noticed that the opposite problem's happening. The other list was too old focused, too old high ranking games. This one's a little too new focused, too much recency bias. So to offset against that, I tried a new system where the score is the number of mentions they get plus 1 for each year away from 2024. So Space Invaders is the second highest game there. On the only counting the number of mentions list, they are, where's Space Invaders? It's like near the bottom. But the fact that a game from 1978 is still making this list, I think that deserves a lot of credit. So that under the heavy bonus for age list, it gets up to the second place. And so this is a list when you orient things towards a age bonus. Yeah. And I think that's fair. I think if you're still remembering Space Invaders decades later, and still putting it on your list, that's good. That deserves props. Here's one where I tried where it's just a small bonus for age. Changes things a little bit. And, doesn't put Space Invaders way up high. Puts it higher for sure, but it doesn't put it up at the top. I prefer this one, personally. Because what I was doing when I wanted the modern list is to see what games are worth playing. And I understand that this one has too much recency bias. Who knows in the next decade will some of these games be up as high or even on the list at all. I don't know. Whereas this prioritizes games that are old that are still worth playing, which I think is what I was trying to go for, really, primarily. Let's just show you the list. You can take a snapshot if you want. I'll share links in the description. Alright, let's give you the age list, the age bonus list. Left 4 Dead 2, where is that on the main list? Yeah, it's only 6. Yeah, okay. The age bonus. Anyway, that's the video.